The House Republicans failed Tuesday to pick a speaker. Congressman Jim Jordan fell short of the votes he needed, and lawmakers will try for a second time to vote in a new leader on Wednesday. Jordan needs to flip at least 17 more members by then in order to take hold of the gavel. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Ohio Republican Jim Jordan, the right-wing firebrand and close ally of former President Donald Trump, had been jockeying for days to become the new House Speaker, second in line to the presidency. But today he lost 20 defectors inside his own party.
The Speaker has not been elected,
leaving him more than a dozen votes short of the 217 necessary, and the House chamber paralyzed 2 weeks after removing former Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Jordan said he would try again.
So we're going to keep working, and we're going to get to the votes.
Those who voted against Jordan include moderate Republicans in districts President Biden won in 2020, worried a Jordan-led House could sink their own re-election chances. The 9-term Republican is the face of the Biden impeachment inquiry that has plowed ahead with little evidence.
The Biden Justice Department tries to sweep it all under the rug.
2 years ago, he voted to block the certification of Biden's 2020 win.
I've never said this election was stolen. All I've said is, let's check it out.
And he was in close communication with then-President Trump in the days before and on January 6th, seen on this White House call log.
He went over to the White House and helped plot the entire thing. He urged publicly people disgruntled about the election to march on the Capitol.
Jordan has tried to flip those Republicans who are opposing him, but it has backfired so far. Florida Republican Carlos Jimenez blasted Jordan's strong-arm tactics, including having conservative media listeners flood the phones of Republicans with complaints.
You didn't like the pressure campaign?
No, I don't. I mean, look, if you're a leader, people follow you.
Any concerns you've heard from members about tactics used to win your vote? No.
And Scott MacFarlane joins me now from Capitol Hill. Scott, that was a great question. What else, if you were to run through them quickly, are some of the reasons that these members are not voting for Jordan?
Well, there are several, John, and that's a complication for Jim Jordan. It means there's no silver bullet he can fire and get them all back. 4 of them are Republicans from New York, first-term Republicans in purple districts. Politically, it's a tough vote for them. They also likely have some concerns about Jordan and the government shutdown. There's a suburban Detroit Republican, very purple district. But then there are military-based Republicans. Jen Kiggins of the Tidewater area, huge Navy area. The chair of the House Appropriations Committee, Kay Granger of Texas, with oversight over spending on, among other things, Ukraine, about which Jim Jordan has been equivocating. There's Carlos Jimenez, from whom you just heard, concerned about tactics and the way all of this has been handled. He's got a series of issues, John, which makes them all difficult to solve.
Right. And the way you solve them is through the kind of deal making that leaders are getting punished for by some of those members. There is a discussion somewhere, tell us how real it is, about temporarily empowering Patrick McHenry. He's the temporary speaker at the moment. Is that a possibility, and would Democrats get on board with that?
It sure is, and I'm hearing that from sources in both parties as the night began, that there is some type of talk of temporarily empowering this Speaker pro tem, Patrick McHenry, to open up the floor. Let's get some legislation going again as they try to settle out who should be the next full-time speaker for the rest of this Congress. And I got to tell you, John, a cooling off period might be just what these members need, but you can just feel the acrimony, the visceral frustration Republicans have with each other as all of this plays out. It's like a bad family argument that's getting worse. Everybody needs a timeout.
So if there is that timeout, is there anything that Congressman Jordan can do before 11 a.m. Wednesday or during this timeout period to get those 17 on his team?
He needs to show progress. In the next vote, you want it to look better than the first vote. If it gets worse, it seems like he's on a real bad trajectory. But he's not going to win over any Democrats who, among other things, stay unified with their leader, but also absolutely outraged with Jim Jordan and his connections to election denialism and January 6th. Take a listen to one of them, Norma Torres of California.
I think he was a pivotal part of January 6th.
I absolutely think that he was a pivotal part of January 6th insurrection. The days leading to the insurrection, he plotted with the White House, he plotted with the president's allies.
And John, let me wrap it here. There's at least one Republican defector, Ken Buck of Colorado, who's expressed concern that Jim Jordan continues to deny the 2020 election results. That's a Republican saying it. These are some difficult fences to mend.
That's right, and a conservative Republican at that. Scott MacFarlane on Capitol Hill. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.